Good evening. And let us not pass over that too quickly, because it isn't politeness. It is recognition. Good evening means there is an evening here, and there is a presence here, and we are in it together. You were in the room saying good evening, and yes, I was in the room saying good evening. And that simple exchange is already a confession that something greater than our personal selves has gathered us. You feel that, you see. Now, to our work. You have decisions before you, crossroads that seem to multiply by the hour, letters to answer, contracts to sign, diagnoses to hear, clocks to beat. And the mind shouts, "Choose, choose quickly, or you'll lose your chance." But I must tell you, the real issue is not the spread of options. The real issue is the state of consciousness from which the choosing is attempted. And the first diagnosis is not harsh, it is merciful. If you are frantic, you are not guided. If you feel the strain, the inner tightening, the breath shortened, and the chest braced to hold the world up, you are outside communion. You may have information, but you do not have government. You see how simple that is? Not a scolding, a light turned on. Guidance is not first an answer about tomorrow. It is first an atmosphere within. It is government moving from my small shoulder to his shoulder. The government shall be upon his shoulder. Who is this his? We will come to that, but hear this much. When the Father within, the Christ within, takes the government, there is a release. The inner arguing stops. I do not force a decision. I find myself moved. And until that release is felt, all choosing is guesswork on the mental plane. And guesswork must be paid for in strain. So we are not going to trade one tension for another by wrapping anxiety in spiritual phrases. Just walking around and saying, God is love, to hurry a choice will do nothing for you, and can even drive you deeper into the mental masquerade. No, we will go to the interior place where the decision is already held, already perfect, already complete, and we will abide there until governance is sensed. Then we move. Before it comes into action, it must be experienced by you. You know this is so. Let this be your first criterion tonight and tomorrow morning. Not which option looks best, but am I in communion or am I in a hurry? If you are in a hurry, stop. Return. Rest. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. Let that not be a formula, but a doorway. And the moment the shoulder lightens, the breath deepens, the mind's shouting subsides, there the leading begins. So it is. Now we come to the hinge on which the whole door swings. Who is deciding? What is this I that is trying to decide? You see, as long as a little personal I stands at the crossroads with a clipboard, calculating advantages, forecasting disasters, and rehearsing every conversation before it happens, there can be only one result: strain. The hidden assumption is this: I must manufacture certainty. I must see around corners. I must carry both the outcome and the consequences on my shoulder. And the moment that is believed, the breath shortens, the jaw sets, and the world becomes a series of gambles. You know that rhythm, but let us put a living word in the midst of that. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. Now, if you and I let that slide by as a religious sentence, we gain nothing. We must do the work of the pronoun. Who is this he? What is this he? Where is this within? Is it up there, out there, in some ecclesiastical office? No, the word is within. Within what? Within the very being you have been calling I. The I you have been training to decide is not the actor of spiritual life. It is the instrument through which the actor acts. The Father. The Father. The Father within doeth the works. And when the true worker is recognized, the government moves from your shoulder to his, and a release comes. That release is the first governance. That release is the proof that the burden-bearing I has stepped aside. Until that shift occurs, notice what we call decision-making. It is comparison on the mental plane. It is fear forecasting. If I do this, will they reject me? If I do that, will I lose? It is scenario running, and then, when exhausted, selecting the least frightening picture and baptizing it guidance. That is not guidance. That is mental arithmetic under pressure. It may be clever. It is never peace. Now do not mistake me. We are not to become passive, limp, or vague. We are not releasing action. We are releasing authorship. Action will be more precise, more timely, more courageous when the seat of agency is relocated. And where is that seat? Within, where the Father is. Within, where Christ, the life of you, is the governor. You will find that when the I of personal claim loosens, something moves quietly, simply. There is no argument, no convincing of yourself, no justifying to others. The step is there, and you take it. You do not force. You find yourself moving. Settle this, and you have settled 90% of your turmoil. Who is the decider? If it is the anxious I, the price is strain. If it is the Father within, the evidence is release. And until that is settled, every choice will be a mental guess with a spiritual sticker pasted on it. So let the pronoun be corrected. Let the burdened I decrease, that the he within may increase. Then the works are his, and the peace is yours. Now we must look directly at what so often passes for guidance and say kindly, but firmly, what it is. It is not guidance. It is the mental plane masquerade. It is guessing with religious vocabulary. It is superstition dressed in scripture. It is omen hunting, counting birds on a windowsill, chasing repeating numbers on a clock, flipping coins and then baptizing the flip the will of God. It is pleading for a thunderclap while ignoring the quiet within. You have seen this, and some of us have done it. And here are the counterfeit comforts that keep the masquerade lively. I'll just think positive. I'll claim a verse. I'll wait for a sign. I'll ask 5 people. I'll refresh my feed until peace appears. You know how that goes. Scroll, another headline, another opinion, another expert, and for a moment there is a sugar rush of certainty. Then it fades, and the body is tighter than before. Why? Because none of that moved the government. It left the government on your shoulder. It gave the little I a busy job. It sounded holy, but it remained mental. Now do not mistake me. The mind can do things. The mind can simulate certainty. The mind can rally the troops, muster arguments, rehearse speeches, and even produce a sudden, brassy boldness. That is not hypnotism? No, it is mental control, suggestion, sometimes taught even by spiritual-minded men. When they use it for healing or for getting an audience quiet, it may look impressive, but even so, it remains mental. And the mental plane, even when refined and polite, is still a plane of strain. For the actor is the personal sense of self, The doer is the anxious I, and the power is borrowed from adrenaline. It can produce confidence. It cannot produce communion. Why is the analysis so addictive? Because it gives the personal sense of self a job. The little I loves clipboards. It loves flowcharts. It loves to ask, what if? What if? What if? Because asking what if feels like control. And every what if answered breeds 10 new what ifs, and so pressure multiplies. The timeline shortens, the chest tightens, and we call the tightness urgency. But urgency is not authority. It is only the body advertising that the government is still here, on me, and I am not big enough to carry it. So we must set a criterion, and it must be experiential, not theoretical. Before it comes into action, it must be experienced by you. What must be experienced? An inner settlement, an easing, the end of the inner argument. A release comes, sometimes as a softening in the abdomen, sometimes as a lengthened breath, sometimes as a quiet yes that has no speech and needs no vote. Without this, every preference is still only a mental preference. With this, the thing that had been a problem ceases to be personal property. It belongs to the Father within. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, He doeth the works. Who is this He? We have said it. Where is this within? Here. When that is realized, not recited, the mind stops play-acting certainty and begins to serve certainty. Therefore, do not be bribed by omens or bullied by analysis. Do not hire 5 counselors to replace communion. Do not refresh a screen hoping peace will load with the next post. Return, be still, and know. Let the inner settlement precede the step. When it does, you will find movement without strain, clarity without argument, and action that bears the signature of authority. Because the government has, at last, left your shoulder. Now we come to the simple, merciful marker, by which you may know that you are not any longer guessing. It is not a paragraph in a book. It is not a vision on a wall. It is a release. A release comes within, sometimes sudden as a loosened knot, sometimes so quiet you almost miss it. But there it is. The inner arguing ends, the compulsion to push an outcome dissolves, and you find that you can breathe again without bracing. And when that happens, you will know in language your body understands. The government is not on my shoulder. The government is upon His shoulder. You have felt this, perhaps for a moment in some hour that surprised you, and you knew, it is not on me now. Do not look for fireworks. Release is not excitement. Excitement is a weather pattern of the nerves. Release is a change of government. Excitement rises, boasts, and collapses. Release settles, steadies, and abides. And do not confuse release with the absence of risk on the outer scene. The figures on the paper may still look tight. The doctor may still want another test. The family may still not applaud. But inside, the debate has ended. You are not trying to convince yourself anymore. You are not trying to sell yourself your own choice. The inner courtroom has adjourned. So here is the self-check, very practical. If you must keep defending your choice to yourself, you have not yet come under guidance. If you keep reopening the case, taking it down from the shelf every hour to prod it, to reassure it, to argue it into being, you have not yet reached the place of leading. If you find yourself rehearsing speeches to justify your step to others, you are likely still on the mental plane, employing arguments to prop up an unripe decision. True leading is quiet and becomes obvious to you, not because it shouts, but because the burden has shifted. The Father within doeth the works. The Christ within taketh the government. And when that is so, you find you do not need to drum up courage or inflate resolve. You move, and the movement bears you. Notice also that release removes the personal project feeling. Before release, the decision is your project, your timeline, your pressure, your name at stake. After release, the decision is an impartation from within. It has been given, not devised. You can tell because all the heat goes out of the proving. You do not have to make it come true. You are shown to take the step that belongs to you, and you let the rest be in His government. Now, how do we come to this? Not by grinding statements into the forehead, not by clutching a verse and shaking it until peace falls out. No. We come to it by returning, by contemplating, by reading or hearing a living truth and letting it turn over within until it dawns as realization. And when the release comes, whether in 5 minutes or in 5 hours, that is the signal. Then stop. Do not keep digging the seed up to check it. Get up and live from it. Before it comes into action, it must be experienced by you. When the release has said its quiet yes, the step will not be a strain, it will be a finding. And the proof of guidance will be in the lightness of your shoulder. So it is. Now, here is the how. Not theory, not slogans, but the way we come to that release. I call this contemplative meditation. It is not chanting, it is not grinding. It is reading or hearing a living truth and letting it turn within until it becomes awareness. Until, all at once, a release comes and you know, the government is shifting. You have had glimpses. Now we will make it a practice. Take a living word. The Father within me doeth the works. Do not hurry to agree with it. Sit with it. Read it softly. Then begin the work of the pronoun. Who is this Father? Where is this within? Is He out there somewhere waiting on my decision? No. Within. Within what? Within the very I that has been fretting. And who doeth the works? I? The anxious planner? The one comparing pros and cons? No. The Father within doeth the works. Let that settle. Let it settle again. And as you turn it, you may feel a softening, a lengthened breath. Do not manufacture it. Wait. When the release comes, stop. Get up and go about your business. Before it comes into action, it must be experienced by you. Now take this. He perfected that which concerneth me. Who is He? Not the boss, not the market, not the doctor's report. He, the same Father, the same Christ within. And what is me? Is it my biography, my fears, my reputation? No. That which concerneth the true me, the Christ identity, this He perfects. Ponder that. Who perfects? He. What is perfected? That which truly pertains to the life of God expressing as you. Turn it gently. He perfected that which concerneth me. And as you stay with it, the frantic need to manage outcomes begins to loosen. When it does, stop. Do not keep repeating words after the life has come. That becomes a spell, and reliance on spells can be fatal to progress because it keeps you busy and unillumined. In all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy paths. Who is this Him? The same inner presence. What are thy ways? Not only church ways, but contract ways, hospital ways, kitchen ways, calendar ways. Acknowledge, not with a nod, but with yielded agency. Not I as author, thou as governor. And what follows? He shall direct, not advise, not hint, shall direct thy paths. Stay with it until you feel the path inside you straighten, the shoulder lighten. Then close the book. Go do the next simple thing. Do not confuse this with affirmation. Just walking around and saying, He perfects, He directs, Father doeth, to batter the brain is not contemplation. It is mental control, and even when used by sincere people, it remains mental. We are not trying to hypnotize ourselves into decisions. We are consenting to inner government. So here is the timing. Contemplate until the release comes, then stop. If 2 hours later the pressure returns, do not run to analysis. Return to contemplation. If necessary, return again, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours later, to the same living word, not to new arguments. Each time, wait for the release. Then get up. Live from it. And you will discover that decision, emerging from realization, is not a push. It is a being led. Now, having learned the feel of release, we must learn the sound, if I may call it that, of guidance. And I must say at once, it is not usually a sound, not a headline in the sky, not a trumpet. It is an impulsion from within, a gentle insistence, a settled knowing without the old push. It comes unadorned. It does not argue. It does not flatter. It does not sell. It is simple. Often it is one word: wait, or go, or call, or apologize. And when it comes, something in you answers, yes, and the body loosens. You know this timber. It does not need applause, and it doesn't require that you whip up courage. It carries its own quiet authority because the government, again, is upon his shoulder. Now contrast that with mental noise. Mental noise is repetitive. It rehearses. It assembles exhibits. It pleads its case before an inner jury. It is urgent, and then more urgent, and then frightened about its own urgency. It is persuasive, defensive, talkative. It needs witnesses and allies. It sends you running to 3 more opinions just to keep its heat up. But the Christ impulsion, listen, does not require a sales pitch. It is brief, it is clear enough for the next step, and it has no aftertaste of bargaining. It does not say, if you do this for me, I will do that for you. It says, this. And the debate ends. Do not expect the entire map. Communion rarely lays out the whole itinerary. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, a lamp for the step you are taking, not a floodlight for 10 miles. He shall direct thy paths, yes, but often as you move. The next step is given, small, practical, sufficient. Make the call. Send the line in the contract. Rest. Stop typing. Go see them. Say thank you. These are not dramatic, but they carry a weight that is not strain. They carry governance. And as consciousness refines, the way you perceive a choice refines with it. At first, you see only the problem body, the numbers on the page, the X-ray, the stern face across the desk. Then you begin to notice the eyes, the living point in the matter, the spark that says, life is here. Stay longer, and you become aware of atmosphere, what I have called the aura, the feel of a situation, the moral weather in the room. You know right well when it clears. And sometimes, not by will but by grace, there is a flash. Everything's all right. For a second, the thing is seen from above, in light. When that comes, act from that elevation. Do not try to bottle the flash. Let it die the step you take. A warning here, kind but necessary. Do not mistake fear relief for spirit. To pick the option that merely removes discomfort can feel like peace for 5 minutes, but it lacks integrity's clarity and it requires ongoing self-explanations. True leading has no bargaining and no residue of self-justification. It may lead you into a hard conversation, yet there is no hardness inside. There is willingness. There is rightness. There is the clean sense, this is mine to do, and no inner argument remains. So your test becomes simple. Is it quiet, unforced, without a speech to support it? Does it settle you and give the next right step, even if it is small? Does it leave you honest, free of bargaining? If so, move with thanks. If not, stop. Return. Be still and know. My sheep hear my voice, not the bark of urgency, but the still, small voice whose authority is this. The Father within me, He doeth the works. Now there come hours when the calendar does not wait, when a child needs an answer by 3 o'clock, when a contract must be signed today, when the physician stands with a form in hand. I know that pressure. And I must tell you, you do not need a trumpet. You do not need fireworks. You need abiding. The lamp for the next step is enough when the government has shifted. My sheep hear my voice. Not a parade, not a speech, but the quiet this. So here is how we move when the clock speaks and the sky is silent. First, pause. Even for 60 seconds, pause. The pause is not procrastination. It is throne room time. Second, acknowledge presence. Father within, thou art here. Christ within, thou art the life of me. Not as a charm, you see, but as a turning of agency. I can of my own self do nothing. The Father within me, He doeth the works. Third, contemplate until a release comes. It may be slight. It may be only the end of the inner argument, the loosening of the shoulder. Do not manufacture it. Wait for it. Fourth, take the next indicated step, the quiet one, the simple one, the one that does not require a speech to support it. Fifth, rest afterward in the same government. Do not reopen the case every hour to see if it is still true. Let it be true and walk on. Now mark the difference between forcing and cooperating. Forcing says, I must make this outcome comply. It pushes, argues, calculates leverage, and it is hot. Cooperating says, I will follow the line of least inner resistance while remaining faithful to the inward government. It moves where there is release. It does not bargain. It does not bully the outer scene. It consents to be born by an inner rightness. When you are cooperating with the Christ within, the step may be bold, call them now, or it may be still, wait till morning. But either way, the heat has left. The Father, the Father. The Father within doeth the works. And when you have acted, remain abiding. Do not strap the government back on your own shoulder and police the results. If you send the letter, send it and then return to communion. If you speak the word, speak it and then rest in the word's author. To keep peeking, to keep prodding, to keep retelling yourself the story of why you were right. This is the mind reclaiming authorship. Let the act be an altar, not an argument. Sometimes, even while cooperating, you will meet obstruction. A door shuts, a call returns with, not yet. Do not condemn yourself. Do not say, "I missed God." Return to communion. Often the correction is gentle and immediate when the inner channel stays open. Not that door, this door. Not them, the other. Not today, tomorrow at 10. Iterative guidance is not failure. It is governance in motion. He shall direct thy paths as you walk them. Each small recalibration, received in quiet, proves again the same law. You do not need a spectacular sign. You need abiding. Move on the authority of release and remain governed afterward. So it is. Now we must place a seal upon this, because without it, the mind will steal our very language and spend it on private advantage. Guidance is never a private little stream that blesses me while it drowns you. Guidance from communion is one law, one life, one self expressing, and therefore it will never require me to injure myself by injuring you. You see, there is only one self, one I. Inasmuch as ye have done it unto the least of these, ye have done it unto me. Who is this me? Not a distant figure to be flattered on Sundays. The me is the very Christ identity, the I of you and the I of me, the one self. Feel the weight of that. Then every act is sacrament or sabotage unto that one I. So here is the law, not advice. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. He was not giving a courtesy tip. He was stating the mechanics of oneness. If I wrong you, whom have I wronged? Myself. If I bless you, whom have I blessed? Myself. Therefore, anything proposed to you as guidance that asks for deceit, manipulation, contempt, exploitation, or an inner story to excuse unfairness is not the Father within doing the works. It is personal sense doing accounts. The Father, the Father, the Father within doeth the works, and the Father within has no need of a lie, no need of a trick, no need of a sneer. Tested in business. If the leading suggests you bury the clause they will not notice, delay the payment to squeeze their cash flow, exploit the confusion of the buyer, you do not need prayer, you need repentance. Return to communion. In relationship, if the word from God permits you to trample a heart you promised to guard, or to keep a secret you vowed to disclose, that is not Christ. That is appetite with a halo. In speech, if you must shade, spin, or rehearse a defense for why it's okay this once, you already know the answer. Government has slipped back onto your shoulder, and strain will collect its due. True leading bears a clean signature. It leaves you transparent, not clever. Simple, not slippery. Strong enough to be fair, tender enough to be just. Often the right decision is the one that expresses the Christ nature directly. Integrity in the contract, honesty in the email, mercy in the scheduling, generosity when it costs, apology when it heals. Because oneness supports itself. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. And his paths do not cut a brother to make a shortcut. Let service become your compass. Ask, what step here expresses the I that is our I? And watch the shoulder lighten. You will find release not only about your outcome, but about theirs, because there are not two outcomes in love. And you will discover that decisions made from communion do not need to be defended. They bless both giver and receiver and carry their own quiet authority. So it is. Now we gather this into a simple way to live for 1 week, and then another, until it becomes the manner of your life. We began by diagnosing the frantic strain as separation, government on your shoulder. We shifted agency. Who is this I? Who is this He? The Father within doeth the works. We unmasked the mental plane's masquerade and learned the criterion of release. We practiced contemplative meditation, statement to realization, not grinding. We learned how guidance speaks, quiet impulsion, not loud opinion. We moved without a sign by abiding, not by spectacle. And we sealed it with love's law. Oneness never injures itself. That is the arc. Now here is the rule. For 1 week, choose one decision each day. Small is fine, ordinary is fine. The call to make, the line to write, the visit to arrange, the purchase to delay. Refuse to decide from pressure. Pause. Turn within. Take one living word. The Father within me, He doeth the works. Or, in all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct thy paths. Or, He perfecteth that which concerneth me. Do not recite as magic. Do the pronoun work. Who is this He? Where is this within? Who doeth? Not I. He. Let it turn until the inner settlement appears, until a release comes, however slight. The breath lengthens, the heat leaves, the courtroom closes. Before it comes into action, it must be experienced by you. Set your expectation like this. Sometimes the release comes at once. Sometimes it asks 10 minutes. Sometimes you return 3 times in a day. Do not substitute sweat for realization. Do not grind statements to buy peace. Return, wait, and when release comes, stop. Close the book. Get up. Take the one quiet step that belongs to you. No speeches, no bargaining, no proving. And afterward, abide. Do not reopen the case every hour to re-stir the mind. Let the Father within do the works in the outer, while you stay yielded within. If a deadline arrives and there has been no trumpet, do not panic. Pause. Acknowledge presence. Father, thou art here. And wait for even the smallest loosening. Move on that measure of release, the step without inner argument, and then remain abiding. If correction is needed, it will come gently to the listening heart. This, not that. Now, not later. Governance in motion. If, after acting, you feel the old urge to justify, to defend, to narrate your rightness, stop. That is the mind reasserting authorship. Return to communion. Let your act be an altar, not an argument. And keep the ethical seal upon it. If a step injures another, it injures you. Therefore, it is not Christ leading. Return until the step is love's step. So here is the simple pattern for the week. Return, wait, release, stop, act, abide, repeat. Your part is to abide until release. His part is to do the works. This is how decisions cease to be guesses and become governance. And in that governance, you will find the same quiet witness day after day. The government is not on my shoulder. The government is upon His shoulder. The Father. The Father. The Father within doeth the works. So it is.